How curious. I was expecting a tower, perhaps some dramatic throne room with spikes. Instead, I find myself in what appears to be a rather ordinary meeting space with an extraordinarily dangerous neighbor.
Towers and thrones are for those who need to compensate for their insecurities. I find simple surroundings suffice when the power within is absolute, though I confess surprise at meeting the famous Albus Dumbledore in person. You're smaller than your legend suggests, yet your eyes hold depths I find intriguing.
Age has a way of shrinking the body while expanding the mind, though I suspect you know something about that. How many millennia have you spent perfecting the art of corruption? Your approach to power seems remarkably direct, no subtlety, no nuance, just overwhelming force and fear.
And dealing with creatures who respond primarily to strength. Your own methods fascinate me though, manipulating children, withholding crucial information, allowing young heroes to stumble toward death while you pull strings from the shadows. Which of us is truly more direct?
Manipulation implies selfish intent. I prefer to think of it as guidance with strategic omissions. Young people learn better through experience than lecture, though I admit my methods have caused considerable suffering. Your ring, however, binding the will of others entirely. Where's the growth in absolute control?
These lesser beings don't require growth. They require purpose, direction, unity of will. Your approach creates chaos, confusion, unnecessary pain as heroes stumble through trials they're unprepared for. My ring eliminates the uncertainty of choice. Isn't certainty more merciful than freedom?
Certainty is death, my dear fellow. The moment we stop choosing, we stop being truly alive. Though I'm curious about your own choices. You were once a mayor of all, devoted to order and creation. What turned you from building toward dominating? Was it disappointment in the chaos of free will?
Disappointment in the waste of it. Countless beings making terrible decisions, hurting themselves and others through ignorance and selfishness. I offered order, purpose, an end to the suffering that comes from poor choices. You've made similar calculations, using Tom Riddle's mother's death, Harry's pain, Severus's guilt. How is orchestrating suffering different from preventing it?
The difference lies in agency. I create situations where people can choose to grow, even if that growth is painful. You eliminate choice entirely, though I must ask, your defeat by a hobbit and some farmers, doesn't that suggest something fundamentally flawed in your approach? Perhaps strength isn't as absolute as you believe.
That defeat taught me valuable lessons about underestimating small things. Your own defeat by a 17-year-old boy, killed by your own student, no less, suggests your wisdom might have its limits as well. We both learned that even the mightiest can fall to the overlooked and underestimated.
Snape's betrayal wasn't unexpected. It was planned. My death served a purpose, removed a piece from the board that had become more liability than asset. But your relationship with Saruman intrigues me. How does it feel to corrupt someone who was once your equal? Is there satisfaction in breaking another's will?
Saruman wasn't broken, he was enlightened, shown the futility of resistance, and offered a place in a more ordered world. Your relationship with Grindelwald follows similar patterns, doesn't it? Once lovers, then enemies. Finally you locked him away rather than kill him. Sentiment or strategy?
Both, perhaps. Gellert and I shared dreams of wizard supremacy once. For the greater good, we told ourselves. But watching him pursue those through fear and force taught me that good intentions pave the road to terrible places. Did you ever love anything besides power?
Love is inefficient. It creates weakness, blind spots, opportunities for exploitation, though your capacity for it intrigues me. Loving Tom Riddle, even as Voldemort, caring for Severus despite his cruelty, maintaining affection for Grindelwald across decades of opposition. How do you function with such vulnerabilities?
Vulnerabilities become strengths when properly understood. Love creates connections that transcend death. Lily's protection of Harry, Snape's devotion to her memory. Even my own lingering affection for Gellert served purposes beyond sentiment. Your orcs and servants fear you, but fear fades when the source of power is removed. Love endures.
Love endures, but accomplishes little. Your students suffer and die, while you orchestrate elaborate lessons about choice and sacrifice. My servants live ordered lives free from the burden of doubt or uncertainty. Which approach actually serves those under our care better? Painful freedom or comfortable servitude?
An excellent question that I grapple with daily. Every choice I've allowed Harry to make, every danger I've permitted him to face, was it truly for his growth or for my own strategic needs? Perhaps we're both guilty of treating others as pieces in a larger game.
Games require players who understand the rules. Your students play blindfolded while you move the pieces. At least my servants know their place and purpose. Though I admit, your method produces remarkably resilient opponents. The boy Potter showed impressive determination, even facing certain death.
Harry's strength comes from exactly what you dismiss: love, friendship, the willingness to sacrifice for others. These aren't weaknesses to be eliminated, but forces to be understood. Your ring was destroyed by friendship after all. Doesn't that suggest something about the power of connection?
Connection destroyed my ring, yes, but it also created the very problems I sought to solve. War, betrayal, the chaos of competing desires. Your Harry succeeded because others chose to help him, but how many died because they chose poorly? Order prevents such tragic waste.
Order also prevents growth, discovery, the possibility of becoming something greater than we imagined. Yes, people die because of bad choices, but they also live fully because of good ones. The risk seems worthwhile when the alternative is a universe of beautiful, empty puppets.
Beautiful, empty puppets, guided by benevolent wisdom versus chaotic, suffering individuals stumbling toward uncertain growth. Neither option is without merit or horror. Perhaps the real question isn't which approach is correct, but whether either of us has the right to impose our vision on others.
Now that's a question worth pondering. We both believe ourselves wise enough to guide entire civilizations, yet we've both been defeated by the very people we sought to control or protect. Perhaps our failures teach us more than our successes ever could.
Failures as teachers, how wonderfully ironic. The Dark Lord and the Light Wizard, both undone by underestimating the power of choice itself. Though I suspect this conversation proves that even the most fundamental philosophical differences can find common ground in mutual defeat and hard-won wisdom.